Hello world, my name is Amanda Ashley and I'm an original singer-songwriter from Rochester, New York. I'm coming to you with this video just to inform you a little bit about who I am and tell you a little bit about my original music. Let's see, my story begins in Long Island, New York. I was born and raised in Long Island and raised by a wonderful family. I have an older sister who's 14 years older than me. We are absolute polar opposites, but adore each other. And we were both fortunate enough to be raised by a mother and father who have been greatly supportive and encouraging throughout the course of our lives. I began playing piano when I was 6 years old. I showed an early interest to playing piano probably around the age of 3 or 4. I had a babysitter who had a piano. She just had a upright piano, and whenever I would go to her house, I would kind of gravitate towards it and play it and pretend I could sing and just, tinkle the keys a little bit. And one day she gave my mother a ring on the phone, and unfortunately, she was getting a divorce. She was going through a divorce, and they had to get rid of their piano. And she called my mother and was like, "Hey, I know how much Amanda loves this, and I wanted to see, we have to get rid of this piano. I wanted to see if you'd be interested in taking it off her hands." And so they did, and we had the instrument in our household for years before I was ever given my first lesson. My parents thought I was a little bit too young, but on my 6th birthday, my father and always, I would always go run errands with him. I was his little shadow, and my father was like, "Come on, let's go for a ride." And I didn't know where we were going, and he ended up taking me to Family Melody, which was a music store in Patchogue, New York. I'm not sure if it even still exists. It probably does, but that's where I had my first piano lesson, and that's where my story really begins. From learning piano, I eventually went on to picking up violin and picking up guitar. And I played violin throughout my elementary and high school years, and I still do play a little here and there. And guitar I picked up, I started taking lessons probably around the age of 11, I want to say. And songwriting really began from there. With guitar, along came songwriting. Within my first few chords, um, I really started to pen more lyrics, and I've always written poetry throughout the course of my life, starting at a very young age. I probably started writing in elementary school. I'd always be doodling and be writing things when I wasn't supposed to during my classes, and trying to keep myself occupied for the most part whenever I was bored. But poetry was always something that was there, and that I always turned to. And eventually, those poems became my lyrics and my story within words. Um, so I began playing guitar at 11, and some of the songs that I was making up on guitar, I eventually would transpose to piano. And I entered a high school talent show probably around the age of 15 or 16, and it was my first song that I was truly proud of, that I wanted to showcase. And I just remember feeling so, so nervous. I was not 100% confident in my vocal ability. I thought I could sing, but wasn't sure that I wasn't 100% sure of the fact that what I was hearing and what I thought was good would translate the same way to other people. I was afraid that, especially to my peers, I was a little hesitant because my vocals are so strong and I knew they were different. I was a little worried that people would take that the wrong way, or possibly that I'd get made fun of. So I disclosed my vocal ability for quite some time. But once I got that reassurance, I entered the talent show, and I got such a great response from it. It was shortly after that that I started going full force and continued to write, and um, I started doing open mics at the age of, 15 or 16 at a local Starbucks. We'd gather all my high school friends, and they'd come out and support me, and it was something to do for us as high school, students on a weeknight. So we'd all grab coffee, and I'd bring my guitar out, or sometimes my keyboard. I would make my poor father lug my ridiculous equipment. We always joke around now saying that he was my first roadie, and he still is one of my roadies today. But I guess that's where it all began, and I know I'm just blabbering on, and I'm going to continue to blabber on through this video. But um, I went to college at SUNY Fredonia, and I continued to play. I went for music. I auditioned for piano, and I was accepted into their program, and I continued to take music lessons and continued to polish my classical chops. And I eventually switched out of the music program into art, and I ended up graduating with a bachelor's of fine arts degree in painting and drawing. Music and art has gone hand in hand for me throughout my life. Unfortunately, my art kind of always got thrown a little bit on the back burner because music just always came a little bit more naturally for me. It was the first thing I turned to in the morning, the last thing I turned to in the evening, and it's the one constant thing that I think about throughout the day and get excited about. So let's see. I guess that's a little bit about my music. Today, currently, 20 years later from when I first started playing piano, I am playing out regularly in Rochester, New York. I gig out about 3 to 4 times a week. I host a local open mic with a good friend of mine on Thursday nights. And I'm just continuously trying to better myself in all ways possible. I want to be the best piano player I could possibly become. I want to strengthen my vocals. I want to expand all musical horizons. That's just kind of the way I've always been, and slight perfectionist, but I like how rewarding it is. Just the best thing about being a musician is, although it's not always instant, the gratification that you get from it, and if you really push yourself and try to become the best you could possibly become it, no matter what you do, it's really so rewarding. And within the past year, I've seen a tremendous amount of growth within myself and within my ability, vocally, piano, just stage presence, and performing all together. It's become a part of me in so many ways, and I really enjoy doing it so much more now than I ever have. One of the questions I was giving was, where do I see myself in 5 years? It's hard to say. I've always been somebody who always planned ahead. I have a lot of drive and ambition, and there's so many things I would love to accomplish in my life. And in 5 years, idealistically, I would love to, I mean, I'm constantly pursuing a recording contract. I would, honestly, it's not beyond any fame or any exposure. I just really want to be able to make a living doing this. And in 5 years, I hope to be doing that. I don't really know where I see myself, because where I saw myself a year ago is not where I saw myself today. So it's hard for me to answer a question like this, as basic and as simple as it is. But um, what I would like to accomplish, I would love to experiment and continue to record in all all genres of music. Not all genres, but I would like to dip my toes in more hip hop music, even maybe some dance pop music, continue with my singer songwriter. I just want to record. I want to continue writing and maybe even do some ghostwriting for other people or other rising stars. Not maybe not so much even for myself, but aside from that, suggestions for my viewers: follow your heart, follow your passion, follow your dreams. Life is really an amazing thing, and it, just as I had previously mentioned, it could be very rewarding if you work towards all the things that you feel is worth working towards in your heart. Um, it's easy to get blindsided by a lot of things. It's easy to be discouraged and to be knocked down and to be told you can't do this, you can't do that. And with as little success as I've had, that success keeps me pushing forward every day and keeps me working even harder towards my goals and ambitions. So I really am a firm believer that all hard work will pay off eventually. And I guess that's my only advice to anybody else. No matter what you are striving to do, no matter what your interests are, whether it be music, whether it be art, or anything completely unrelated to those two things, just keep pushing towards what you fully believe in your heart and what you are most passionate about, because things will come full circle, and someday it'll all have purpose and you'll see all it's worth. I believe that is all I have for you. Thank you, and thank you for listening if you've watched this video, and I hope I didn't bore you. But enjoy my music. If you are, you could find me on facebook.com / Amanda Ashley. I'm constantly posting where I'm performing next, what I'm up to. I have a blog on my website. It's amandaashley.weebly.com. And I'm constantly updating, constantly playing new places, new cities, and hopefully I'll be coming out to a city near you at some point soon, and we will get to meet one day. That's it. I'm signing off. Thank you, and take care.